So, I made a video on this a few months ago. It was actually the second video I made on this channel, but I felt like it wasn't really all that great, and I needed to remake it with the tools I use now. Like and subscribe if you love Five Nights at Freddy's, and Lincoln, don't mind the ashes. I'm Link Ash, and welcome to the remake of the Sticky Note story room lore thing, plot, whatever. So, if you've already watched the video, you basically know what I'm talking about, but please don't leave. This will be so much better, and it has a few changes, actually. I had so many people stop watching my last video after only like 30 seconds. Help. Anyways, after watching ID's Fantasies video about who is occupying the sticky note room, me and my friend, we took a closer look at the sticky note messages. What we saw made my brain go into theory crafting mode. And mind you, this was the first time my brain had ever done that. For me, I usually just didn't come up with my own theories. I just sat there thinking a long time about someone else's long, hard-worked theory. Never really made my own. When we looked at the sticky notes, I noticed phrases such as, wait, I should fill you in on what ID's Fantasies video was about if you haven't watched it. Basically, she explained that instead of Charlie or the crying child living in the sticky note room, it was both of them at once. Some of the evidence, not all, to explain this is the fact that the textures for the door were deliberately changed to Charlie door, and there are several notes seemingly representing Charlie, but then there were also notes such as "You are Afton family," which wouldn't represent Charlie, but it would represent the crying child. The same with the Afton family staff bots. The sticky notes seemed to be written by different people, as there seems to be different handwritings and different writing utensils for these notes. And that was basically the gist of what our video was about, but in much less detail. Make sure to go watch it if you haven't already. I'll leave a link in the description. Okay, so I am going to start with a storytelling perspective, then go into the reasons why I think these things later. For some reason or another, Charlotte Emily, whether she be a robot with the soul of Charlotte inside or just the soul itself, ended up in this room and made it her new home. She stayed there for a while with nothing to do except draw and try to hold on to memories of who she was before her brutal end, and all she had was sticky notes, a pen, and a pencil, and a crayon. She was able to sneak out into the rest of the Pizzaplex, but she had to be careful so no one would spot her. She stole a pass and was able to rewire it into all of the areas of the building, though. One day, a young boy slightly older than Charlie entered the room. Charlie had had little to no human interaction since entering her little hidey hole, but she tried her best to get him to go away through writing her sticky notes. The boy saw her hiding and grabbed some sticky notes of his own. "Hello, no hide," he wrote. "Be friend," he asked on a separate note. Charlie peered out from her hiding spot and got a good look at the boy's face. She recognized him. She walked out with the sticky note saying, "Friends?" "Yes," the boy, who is technically Cece, responded. They started talking without using their sticky notes, and they got to know each other well. They both realized that they were forgetting past before death, and they helped each other remember. They talked about their friends, their birthdays, their animatronics that they possessed. Charlie even remembered that Cece's sister possessed Circus Baby, and his brother was a security guard. Throughout the days, they would leave to go get food and play arcade games together. They played many games together in their room, too, until that one fateful day. One day, Cece ended up playing the wrong game at the wrong time. He found a game that seemed fun. It was called Balloon World. It felt intriguing, so Cece checked it out. He accidentally bumped into a purple glitch-looking thing and brought him to a special part of the game. Or, that's what he thought it was. He reached the end of the purple path and realized something was wrong. He felt himself slowly lose consciousness. He regained his consciousness a few hours later, but he was still being half controlled by whatever this thing was. He basically had to fight it off to stay conscious. He knew that this was going to be something he could not involve Charlie in, so he went back to the sticky note room and wrote out "Goodbye" on one note, "Friends forever" on another, and a frowny face on a third. He made them stick out so that she would notice them, and then he left. As he left the room, he lost consciousness again. When he woke up, he couldn't remember anything. All he remembered was small details about the Pizzaplex, such as the names of the animatronics. He couldn't even remember his name. He had to find a way to hide. Luckily, though, he was sitting there during a show, and during that show, Freddy randomly malfunctioned. The perfect place to hide. Okay, so this was kind of making a way for my theory from the other video to connect to GGY, and previously I had no idea what would happen and why they said goodbye, but GGY seems like it gives good information, and using other people's GGY theories, I made a tie-in so that the Gregory equals CC and the CC being in the post-it note room still works. I know it seems like a stupid story to get just from one book and a few sticky notes, but hear me out on this. I think that Charlie was the one that was there first because of the note that says, "This is my home. Leave." It seems to be written in the same handwriting as "You are Afton family," so I'm pretty certain that Charlie was the first. I was the first. I have seen everything. Except it's not Susie. I feel like they were forgetting some things because of the notes of Charlie helping Cece remember that he is Afton family. And she also drew a security guard, which would be how she last saw Michael, and Scrap Baby, how she last saw Elizabeth. Charlie had less trouble remembering, possibly because she didn't die of head wounds.
Was that the bite of 87?
There were drawings of staff bots that I saw, and a note that said, "Stop, go," which could mean that Cece was informing her about the staff bots that patrol during the night. The reason I mentioned them leaving the room is A, because they needed some way to get food, B, it would be boring to be stuck in that room all day, and C, there were sticky notes talking about food they ate, and one in particular caught my eye, the one saying, "Let's get snack," with a picture of pizza. How else would they get snack without leaving that room? I can tell they also played games, though I'm not sure which games, but because of multiple sticky notes such as fun plus games and play all day. Not sure what that has to do with lore relevance, but whatever. Now we get to the most controversial part. Well, I say controversial, but no one has really made this theory before, so it's not controversial yet. I saw videos from Rytoast and FunAF about how Gregory got controlled by Glitchtrap in order for GGY to technically serve as canon, and I wanted to mix those theories and add in the Gregory is a robot CC and my own theory about what happened in the sticky note room before the events of Security Breach, and, well, you've seen what I've come up with. Now, given the fact that Gregory is patient 46, and doesn't remember Glitchtrap / Burntrap and Vanny at all, it makes sense that he was corrupted by Glitchtrap so much that he literally had no control. As John from FunAF explained, the Balloon World arcade games have heavy ties to Glitchtrap. It would make sense if Gregory played the arcade game and found the glitch, which got him corrupted by Glitchtrap. He then slips from consciousness and doesn't remember anything and while he is GGY. However, this was where I was confused. Because as we have seen with Vanessa, Glitchtrap can't get complete control over humans. He just influences them and only sort of half controls them. For Gregory to not know anything between when he got corrupted and when he jolted back to consciousness during this Freddy stage show thing, he would have had to have been in what was essentially a long slumber, even though his body was going and doing other things. How could this happen if he was a human? The answer is, it couldn't. That is why I brought in the Gregory is robotified version of CC theory. We've seen Glitchtrap take full control of animatronics before. Whether I like the theory or not, I believe that Gregory certainly is Robot CC. In the past, I've mentioned how sticky notes saying goodbye and friends forever were what CC/Gregory wrote to Charlie right before the events of Security Breach. He had to have had some sort of consciousness for at least long enough to tell his friend goodbye, but she couldn't have been there in the room with him, as there'd be no reason to write the sticky note. I think they only used the notes when someone was nearby and could hear them, but if they could have been heard when he said goodbye, he would have had to have waited to leave. Given the fact that he would have been fighting for control of his body, he probably wouldn't have been able to fight it long enough, and that would bring Charlie into it. He probably was only able to fight for long enough to write the notes, then leave before falling under pressure of the fighting against Glitchtrap. To be honest, I think this is a compelling narrative. Plus, it would make sense for Charlie to be in the DLC as the girl from the poster. Obviously, she had left the room by the time Security Breach rolled around, but she was most likely searching for where her friend went. She started hiding in places like Kids Cove, but when the animatronics started going crazy under the control of Glitchtrap, she decided to hide it in the level 10 security rooms. She wouldn't have had her pass taken away, and since we never see into the level 10 security rooms, that would have been the best place she'd be. But then, when she finally finds her best friends again, he's in need of rescue. So, what do you think? I may have added in some of my least favorite theories, not because they're bad, but because they're actually really good and I don't want them to be. But it makes a compelling story arc that would be fun to learn about. I don't know about you, but I'd love to see this end up getting paid off in the Ruin DLC. Come to think of it, Ruin DLC is a mouthful when not put into acronyms. Like seriously, it would have made my video an extra 1 to 2 minutes long if I had to say Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach Ruin downloadable content every time. Don't know why I threw that in there, but it was just a random thing I thought of. Anyways, if you love this theory, I'd love to see this video get to 15 likes. And don't forget to subscribe. I'm Link Cash, and this was my FNAF Security Breach theory. Bye!